What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is another edition of EB's Real Talk. I just happen to be hosting it again today. I am Jerm So Tru. We got EB Smith and we got Mr. K. Kelly. So today, in this particular show, I want to talk to you two fellas about what it means to empower the black community. And I want you guys to basically elaborate on some of the big things that you feel that you could really you can do yourself maybe, or maybe what we need to do as a community to empower each other.
First of all, support each other.
So
as long as your idea is something that I see is beneficial to the community, we need to say, okay, well, I can't be there, I can't give you my money, but what I will do is I'll set the flyer up in my shop. Don't tear the flyer down, or I'll make sure somebody have it up, and if I need a fresh one, I'll get it. Or something small as being able to say, hey, you know, I can cook a little bit, I can make some pies for you, I know you're having a picnic down the street. If you just give me enough money for the ingredients and pay me for my time, I'll get you cake. That kind of things will help people that wants to start business and stuff, because sometimes they can't afford to feed their own staff.
Because it's backing you before you even start.
Right.
It's backing you at the beginning of it. Right. What would you say?
I'm thinking about collaboration. Too many people want to be the chief. You know, we gotta humble ourselves. If we want to, even the scriptures say, if you want to be exalted, you must humble. The humble will be exalted, and the exalted will be humble. Don't the scriptures say that? So the thing is that we have to humble ourselves and understand that if we're gonna uplift ourselves as a community, we have to learn how to collaborate. And that means looking out for the interests of the other person. And that means coming together and taking pride in other people's successes. If we do not do that, then you're just sitting up there on the hill by yourself. And after they kill off your community, who's left? You sitting up there on the hill. You think they can't charge up the hill?
Right, that's right.
I think another big thing that we have in an urban community that really starts and really sparks a lot of these things is jealousy. I think that everybody is so worried about somebody doing better than them. What does it mean to you to be does jealousy affect you at all in anything that you do? Because I know you collaborate over the time, because I know you, so I know you collaborate with a lot of people. Do you ever find yourself becoming jealous of what another person's success is at all?
No, I think for me, and I always ask myself that too, because if I get an ill feeling about something, I say, well, I don't want to help them. And I say, is that jealousy? Sometimes I think what creeps in you, if you're not careful, is you envy them. You always go, well, how are they able to do that and I'm not? But and that's almost like a normal instinct. But because of my commitment to my people, or to people, I mean, I collaborate with Caucasian people, but because of my commitment, I go like this: what am I not doing? And then I turn it into something and it makes it feed me. So yeah, I think it may hit you, but then you got to know what to do with it. You can't just you grab it and then run with it. So for me, yeah, I'm sure it has affected me a little, but it's never made me go do something to destroy somebody's stuff, man. I believe whatever you put in the ground gonna grow. So I always go like, I ain't doing that, bump that, I'll just beat them fair and square. Because here's what I think, and then I know I'm going to move away from it. I believe when you cheat to beat somebody, you really ain't won. I want to beat you fair and square, so when it's over, I go like this. All right, because then the best man didn't win. So what about you?
That's a deep question. It may be more deeper than what the host may think. I'm not trying to denigrate
what I'm saying.
Right, exactly. The thing is that, first of all, if you're secure in yourself, there's no room for jealousy.
I agree with you 110%.
Second of all, when we look at this envy and whatnot, and we look at the things that people of color, all people of color, and I'm just going to just be flat out, I'm going to be let's just keep it real. You know, we get the think tank people try to put everybody in the minority box. Or if you're a white man with a limp, you're a minority, right? Or something like that.
Right.
You're not a minority. If you're a white woman and you have, short hair, you're not a minority. You know what I'm saying?
You still appeal to a specific demographic.
The thing is that actually is no such thing as a minority. It's a such thing as being in a situation where you are being discriminated against. Flat out. You're a victim of discrimination. Period. So the thing is that just like Mr. EB, he's the corporate man. He's very smart, very intelligent. I'm educated myself. I'm not corporate like him. I'm just kind of whoever I am, Whatever I am, Some people may know, some people ain't not. If you don't know, then you don't need to know. But the thing is that when you work around people of the so-called majority, they bicker and fight with each other so much all the time.
That's right.
What's the issue?
That's right.
I think too, an issue that I see is black folks don't know how to work together. They don't value each other's work. They don't value being able to come up together, because you can be one black person and be successful. You can be 15 people that be successful. But what is your definition of success?
That's
See,
right. I agree.
Success is not just the numbers or the money. People look at money and think money is success. But actual success would have been gold. Things that you cherish, covet, things that you can pass down to generations. That's what you classify as successful. Did you make the generations behind you be able to say, I don't have to struggle the same way as you had to struggle when you started? So I think when it comes down to those things, the black community got success all misconstrued, because we value these material things and we think those things are successful. Just a very, very clear point is a wedding ring. People think that a wedding ring makes you married, but it does not, because you can have that ring on. If you ain't got no damn marriage license, it don't make no difference.
Right.
So
it's funny you say that though, because we're looking at semantics and we're looking at perceptions. Because back in the old days, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you wanted to get married, did you go to a bureau and get a license back in the old days?
No.
What did you do?
Get married.
You got married. You made a solemn vow in front of your elders, and you were married. So the system we're in now is like, right. So it seems like you made an excellent analogy of the diamond. I'm gonna go further with it. Are diamonds really rare?
No,
because we know whoever this guy is, that created that Rhodes Scholarship, whatever his name is, Cecil Rhodes, he came in the South Africa and took over the diamond industry, and they hoarded diamonds and whatnot, and they had a bunch of diamonds. They're like, man, diamonds weren't no big deal back in the 17, 18. Really, it wasn't. So they had all kind of emeralds and jades and all that stuff. They said, well, how are we gonna make it? And up in the 1900s, the 20th century. So they went to the movie industry. They said, let's make this palatable. So in every movie, the man gonna give a woman a diamond. Okay? So now, I've had a previous relationship, and me and her getting back together, but I want to talk about you, baby. Sorry. I'm going to talk about you, baby. Look, I told her, look, I don't believe in blood diamonds.
Now, that by itself tells that you don't believe in something just because this is what it shows you. You don't look at the eye. The eyes lie, because the eyes will tell you something that you don't even, but it's only because it's a picture. A picture is worth 1,000,000 words. So if a picture's worth 1,000,000 words, if it ain't got no caption up under it, if it ain't got no knowledge up under it, what are you really looking at? Right. You're looking at an illustration. Right. And what is an illustration? An illustration is nothing more than just something I'm looking at, and gets my mind to do just like this. Right. Gets the wheels turning. Yeah. So once your wheels turn, then what? What happens after your wheels turn?
So let me ask you, since we're talking about something, we're talking about empowerment. Mm-hmm. And my definition of empowerment is knowledge of self first, and knowledge of your environment, and intelligently interacting with that. So let's say you're in a relationship, Hey, you want to marry? You want to get engaged to this young lady?
First of all, we would never be engaged. Because engaged is this. Hi, how you doing? We're going to do a show. That's an engagement.
You're a different kind of guy. But most guys, if they want to court a woman, what's a woman going to want? Because of how we've been programmed. You had a show with EB that, you know, I seen. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you were talking about
Programming, right.
All right. Now we're talking about empowerment.
Which is actually deprogramming. Empowerment is deprogramming. Because see, I don't know. I have never had I want to say bad privilege of living in a house where there was an empowerment. Because my father moved from Alabama, came from Alabama with just shoes on his foot, stood on the street in corner and was asked the name of the street. It was right above him. That's how much he didn't know. He went from that to owning a block, to owning a restaurant, to owning a U-Haul place, and he could barely spell. And my mother, my stepmom bought real estate, so I don't know what it's like to grow up in a house where there was no empowerment. When I got out, I went, "What do you mean y'all blow everything y'all make?" I'm like, wait a minute, y'all broke on payday? It never made sense to me. So when the programming came, you know what they told me? I had a girl break up with me because I would not go out and spend money on Christmas. She broke up with me December 23rd. And she never told me why. And finally she said, "Because you such a Scrooge." I'm like, Scrooge? The movie? What the heck are you talking about?
That man said the movie. But it's the point.
Programming.
The point is, see, I'm going to say this, and we talk about this. I think the empowerment too, I'm going to say this too, and this has to be said. The empowerment still, in some ways, comes from gender in the community as well. Because black men don't empower black women because they're too busy out here chasing whitetail and Puerto Rican tail and all these other tails. And that's no offense to another gender or anybody or
don't let one of his partners hear that statement.
But
One of his partners in the business.
Yeah, but she knows.
Sell out. But the point is, we don't empower each other as a demographic. I noticed that black women are so busy talking about husband privileges and boyfriends want husband privileges and ain't no real men, and then dudes is out here saying and ain't no real women. But wait, time out. Can you pinch them? So they real. Problem is their conception and the misconceptions of what they feel about life are what their problems is. How they were raised is where you're gonna have your biggest gap when it comes down to it. So what I'm seeing more of where it comes to empowerment is black women, as we talked before, are actually in the leader demographic right behind white men now.
But
when it comes to empowerment.
But isn't that back to what you just said, Kelly, about the mind? So isn't that really, that's what we're conditioning our mind? They make you think that there ain't no men in the community. But I got news for you, and I was even shocked.
That's not true.
How many young men are actually taking care of their children at a higher rate. It blows your mind. Go to the doctor sometime, and you see that, oh my God, and I say, oh my God, I've been looking at it wrong, right? Back up here, right? Back up here again.
I completely, totally agree with what Evie's saying, and the thing is that we're in a situation where we have to understand that we've been duped.
Yes, we have been.
So the thing is that, and I think one of your first shows, I think I may have been one of your guests. You done a few shows, but and I'm not against people that have a religion or faith or anything like that. It's just a little pet peeve of mine because I went down the rabbit hole, way down the rabbit hole with it. And the point I'm trying to make is that if folks are going to empower themselves, they have to. There's a scripture in the Bible that says God is a spirit, and those who worship God must worship in the spirit and truth.
In truth, right.
So
they leave that other part out. So
right, exactly.
Is actually the key part.
Exactly. So the thing is, that is so true. There's a lot of things in the scripture that's true. I'm not saying that a lot of things in the scriptures are not true. They are true. They really are true. But the people that control the religions are deceiving us.
That's right. And the people that actually put together and assembled this. And it's back to this again. to say, if I may add, Kelly, when we were given the Bible, it's some things in there. If you ain't a reader, you hear those terms and you go, what's he talking about? He said he must be the head. Well, he is intending on being the head. She ought to be the head if she don't want left. So what that man say is, now the pastor wants to take over her family because she has no man in there. So now she finally meets somebody when she's had the pastor as the head, right? All the time. He's like, well, I gotta talk to my pastor. Wait a minute, you gotta talk to the pastor before we date?
Now I had a woman. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I had a woman who actually I had a situation like this with, where she was saying she had to talk to her pastor about all these different things. Now, mind you, with her saying she had to talk to the pastor about different things, my biggest thing was I said, well, do you know other names? She didn't know Jehovah was another name for God. She didn't know anything. So in so many words, what were you going to church for 4 days a week? 4 days a week, and you don't know that? I think you was there for a social gathering.
That's what he said at the beginning.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole. I won't even go there with that because the letter J wasn't invented till the 15th century.
Exactly.
Sorry,
it started in Hebrew where there was no.
Yeah, it was why it was Yah, mm-hmm. But any old way, whatever.
Yah.
Any old way. But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make, as far as my own mindset is that when you know the truth about this whole picture, then that will set you free. There's a scripture in John 8:32, something like that, where Jesus say, I will show you the truth, and the truth will set you.
But it also has a same reference to that where, watch the word now, watch the play on semantics. She's about it. You will show you the truth, and it will make you free.
Now that but it's in two separate Bibles and two separate interpretations.
Yeah. So, but now think about what he's saying.
But to me, it's the same difference because the truth is knowledge.
Force you to look at things.
So I'm saying the truth is knowledge. Mm-hmm. Let's say if I believe that 1 + 1 = 3. That's not knowledge. That's just what I believe.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I believe 1 + 3 = 3, but 1 + 3 does not equal 3.
Right.
Actually, 1 + 1 = 2. It doesn't equal 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right.
I may have said it wrong. 1 + 1 does not equal 3. It equals 2.
But isn't that back to your original point was the empowerment? So I noticed I was playing on those words when you were talking. Both of you were talking. That the word in the middle of empowerment is power. Mm-hmm. And if a person's empowered, the prefix of that, then do you really want to give them power if you try to control them?
Exactly.
You really don't want to give them power.
About it.
You really don't want to give them power if you're trying to control them. And Kelly, you have a lot more in-depthness on our opposing view of religion, and it actually helps have a great conversation with them. So when I say things like, the reason why pastors, I won't just say pastors, but let's just say pronounced pastors, will not talk against politicians is because they are living off the same people the politicians are living off of.
That's right.
They can't empower them. Because if they empower them, they go like this, wait a minute, I ain't got to come to church on Tuesday.
The same people that gave you that religion off of slavery after you came from a slave ship, they wouldn't let you speak your language. They said, what's your name? Oh, my name is Kunta. No, your name ain't Kunta. Your name is what?
Yeah.
Oh, finally, my name is Toby.
Right.
All right. So the thing is, those are the same people that gave you your religion. Back on the continent, you never had that. You always had a spiritual consciousness. It was never an organized religion. Never, never, never. It was always about spirituality. So if you a Christian, like Chris Rock said, you got a short memory. I'm sorry. And I love you to death, my brother, and I know you're a Christian. I know you're a Christian. I love you both. I love the Muslims and all that stuff. But I love you all. But the thing is, the truth lets you know what it was there for. It was never in your heritage from ages back in. It became your heritage 400 or 500 years ago.
The truth is, they had. So there's a lot of truth in what he's saying. I think that when you talk about empowerment, I should be able to choose and what path I'm going to use to make sure that I do some things here. And I think, again, for a black person, to tell another black person they are a maggot for being a Republican, saying that you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
But let them to be a Republican.
But let them be, if that's what they're using to gain the wisdom and knowledge and the pathways, all I say is, but when they wrong, they wrong. Listen, like I said, I got friends that are pastors. I'm going to take a lot of heat for some things that I say, but I can't do that. I can't sit and go, well, you know, hey, I know he mean well. Dude, he a crook. Say it. Why we do this to each other? Because then we leave you wrong. Because one day you're going to find a religion, bring your family in.
Now,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, finish that. Finish it. One day you're going to leave.
We're going to leave our children a more watered down religion than we came into. And back in the 60s, those guys stood for something. They stood on the lines. They stood next to Muslim brothers. When you see them guys speaking on the stage, behind them, they got Muslim and Christian boys behind them, making sure that if you shoot up there, if you're going to take somebody out, we're going to take everybody out. You got brothers who used to walk down the street holding each other and march together with beanies on, and Jews. Now, they telling you to hate white people in the house with the door closed, but when they got in public, they doing kumbaya. To me, I can't do this. I can't stand next to that. To me, and if you think I'm an atheist or I didn't turn my back on my faith, then so be it, because I can no longer do that. Because when he talks about empowerment, and he says to me, I got to be able to look him in his face and say, yep, I believe you. I can't make me mad at this man because he say, the church can't give you empowerment. That's the truth. What he said, that's true. But some people will say, oh man, listen to that dude, man, he walked away from God.
See, the thing is, assistance is assistance. We all breathe the same air. We all see the sun. We all see the moon. But it's a trick bag when I got to go through this person to get to the higher power. I don't need to go through, you don't need to go through me. Mm-hmm. You don't need to go through me.
That's right.
You could consult with the higher power. Mm-hmm. What do you need with me to go consult with the higher power?
People put a lot of unnecessary belief that you need a vessel just in order for you to get there. But if they use that same, now see, here's where we talk about empowerment. If that person that you use as a vessel, okay, a true vessel that we need is somebody to help us with finances.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
What the hell I'm gonna do with what the hell I'm gonna do with interpretation of some words?
Right.
And I need you to help interpret this damn chicken. So
that's right. That's right.
I don't understand maybe the false sense of hope.
That's what it is, selling hope. That's something you talked about, right?
I don't understand, but you know what? You know the reason why I don't understand it. I'm not gonna say I don't understand it because I don't understand people. I understand people to an extent.
Well, you understand it. The thing is that if I'm a snake oil salesman and I'm on a covered wagon and I come to your town and this in this bottle cures everything. It cures your mother-in-law's attitude. All right.
The blood.
Right. So you believe it and you buy a bottle of it, and you know what? My mother's attitude, it ain't perfectly perfect.
You make reasons why you feel like it works.
Exactly. That's the whole game. And see,
she ain't cussing me out today. She don't call me a B. Notice she called me a B-A-E.
Right. So the thing is, as people of color, we have to learn the framework of the game that we in. We gotta stop playing checkers and start playing chess. All right.
But you know what it is? A lack of patience. Knowledge. In order to obtain any type of knowledge, you have to be patient. Because if you cannot tell me that you can read a 500-page book in a day and comprehend everything in a damn book. You just can't. Because when you're obtaining knowledge, you need breaks. It's just like feeding yourself. You can't feed yourself. You see this big cake sitting here the size of this thing. You can't eat that whole cake right then and there. You won't be able to digest it.
I agree
it's
with
too
you.
rich.
I agree with you.
Knowledge, you gotta cut that up into snippets, and you gotta feed yourself daily. You have to nourish your body daily. You can't just say, why do you think in jail there is no, and I'm gonna say this now, if people, I don't understand why people understand this. In jail there's what they call quote unquote hood books. Mm-hmm. Them is the books that you don't learn. You don't learn shit from that book. You know what you learn from that book? You learn just how they really view the urban community in some of these books. You learn all these different unnecessary things that mean absolutely nothing in jail. Half you niggas is in here right now. For
the only thing I would disagree with you with, I'm just going, because we trying to help people, all right? Mm-hmm. It's true what you're saying, but it's not all the way true. Because just because you don't know everything doesn't mean you don't know, all right? So we don't have no leadership. The leadership is so out, all right? Mm-hmm. They are boule. They are all these sororities, fraternity, and I'm not knocking any sororities or fraternities. I know many of you are trying to make some money off some of these, all right? But the thing is that, and I've had friends that are in high positions, and I've had these conversations with them. The thing is that you will never learn the ultimate tweak of every truth of everything, but when you learn the basic understanding of who you are and where you're coming from, just go from there. The thing is, we don't have a leadership, and leadership starts at the bottom. It don't start at the top. Mm-hmm. It starts at the bottom. So the thing is that back in the day, you mentioned it. You mentioned back in the 50s and 60s, civil rights movement, the church, and this and that. I agree with you. We had some strong leadership. They got cut down. Mm-hmm. All right, they had cut down, and the people got scared. That could have been in leadership. Okay, well, you know what? We'll just be a buffer class. All right. Mm-hmm. So the thing is that we have to just, once you have the spirit. See, that's why I went to the scriptures, because I'm not saying everything in the scripture is not fake or anything like that. Right. There's a lot of truth in the scriptures. So the thing is that you worship your Creator in the spirit and truth. When you got the spirit, you don't have to know every detail, bro. Right. You have to know that what your worth is in this whole world. Your worth is that you were part of the original people that created every other race in this earth, including white folks, came from you. So when you know that, then you start taking the step to say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Now, I'm going to say this. Now, I'm not saying this is not anything directed towards you in this way. But what I just took from what you said, I just took an excuse. Because we say that we don't have leadership. We look and find leadership in other places, but we can't find leadership from past leaders, from past people who have fought and died from us. That's an example right there.
We have an ongoing.
But you see what I'm saying? But I'm saying empowering people. If you look at some of the stuff that people did in history. Now, history
that requires us to read, though.
Yeah. Now, what is the
biggest
thing?
Of course we must read, of course.
But once again, when you say it requires you to do something, it requires you to be able to read something, to be able to know about the age and whereabouts this celebrity is, where he from. Oh, he from Chicago. Oh, he from this. Oh, he was this. Oh, he was this. That's the same concept that you take and you put into practice with trying to figure out if what this person stood for. Can I look up to this person? Who should I model myself after? Those are the type of things. When we talk about who is your role model, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think there's something missing in what you're saying.
Okay.
It's more than just read, and it's not lazy. In order for me to serve, I have to first consider myself a servant and not look at it as being a bad word. So in order to read a book, grab something out of there, I gotta first deny myself. And that's a hard thing for people who think in themselves. They can't get, and if they don't know, go back to my brother here said, if they don't already know who they are, it don't take much to knock them off again. So they look at the book and go, who they think they talking to? I ain't no idiot. No, it just says, if you think like this, you're an idiot. It doesn't say you are an idiot. That book actually says more about who they are not. For instance, in order for me to get knowledge from him, like he just said a couple things here that I don't agree with at all, but if I discount it and go like this and go, I ain't paying attention to that. What happened to the sentence that was in between to what he said that I didn't agree with? What happened to I skipped those sentences.
Because you wanted to listen to what you wanted to hear.
That means that what I did was I discounted him. I act like I'm superior than him, that his knowledge is worse than my knowledge is better than his. It's hard to do that if you are a selfish person. So for me, most people most of our people's troubles come from the fact that they can't say, okay, I can't blame my mother for this. I'm the idiot that didn't finish school. Instead, they say, the white man ain't gonna do nothing for us. Even if I did have a high school diploma, they're not gonna do nothing for me. Whoa, they gotta do white folks.
But once again, what is that you just said that they just did?
What?
They made an excuse.
Yeah, they did.
The community is and I'm not saying this as if I've never made excuses, because every man, in order for him to be a responsible man, at some stage had to go through a stage where he had to say, I gotta cut these damn excuses. Because I can never be successful if all I ever make is an excuse. I can never empower somebody if all I'm going to do is make an excuse every time I turn around, because that's basically telling other people it's acceptable to just basically say, I can't do it.
This analogy is going to put us all on the same page. I was coming from the airport one day, and I had no way to get home. I didn't want to call friends or family and whatnot. It was late at night. One of those late red-eye flights. And this guy, he seemed to be an island brother, and I could tell he was high as a kite. I'm like, I ain't want to get into the taxi, but I'm gonna get on in here. And he started driving me to my destination and whatnot, and we got in this interesting conversation, and and the brother was deep. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like, okay. And the conversation kind of kept me off the fact that I knew this dude was high. Hopefully he's driving straight and all this stuff. And we had, I'm telling you, we agreed on just about, we agreed on everything. And then when I had made a comment, and I said, well, people act like this because they don't know. He said, in this West Indian accent, he said, well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, brother. And I listened, because the guy was talking good sense. He admitted that he was syncopated, he liked drugs, he smoked weed, he did whatever, but he was very deep. And I said, okay, and I just listened to him, because it was like so much knowledge that I just never got from anywhere else from this person. He said, it's not that they don't know, they don't want to know. So the thing is that his point was, we all know. The knowledge that we learn from reading or from listening to people like EB, listening to people like Jerm So Tru, or it's that we already know it. It's just that we're bringing it out.
It's actually in a
right. It's in us already.
Right. We want to live in the truth, or we want to live in a certain light or manner, to the point where we don't find it acceptable to do some of the things we see our colleagues.
But you already know it. That was his point. You already know this. When you were born, you know not to steal or hurt somebody. You know this. You know these things.
We are taught this ignorant. We are taught, and so I agree with you. So, because I'm thinking about a Christian scripture that talks about us knowing the truth, and like you mentioned earlier, setting us true. Okay, so wait a minute, hold up. I remember making a reference. I think some years ago I was teaching a class, and we had a whole discussion. I said there's some things missing here. I gotta admit that, because if you read the scripture, it never talks about that God created the water. But you couldn't have this plant not have water. But it said the mist. Okay, you can't have mist without water. I said, but guess what? It was already there. So do we need to just say, okay, well, forget I can't do the rest of this? Nope, no. Those are some things we already know. Well, yeah, everybody know that the water was created, had to be there in order for the plants to be there. Wait a minute. If I get burnt, do I know there's fire that caused that? Or could it be some skin disease? Or did somebody actually burn me? I had to see that. I could say, what? I'm burnt. Because you go like this, right? Did somebody tell you to put your hand back? You automatically know to pull your hand back. You know that somebody giving that information. What we do? They ain't nosy. We go like this. They go like this. But then it's the reception of that energy where we go, man, he ain't talking about nothing. Your brain told you that he was talking about nothing. Because if you had a little bit of, like we have, you go, hold on, man, hold on, leave me alone. Say that again, bro. But the ignorance, and you go like this. Oh, man, you talking about finance. I got time to hear all that shit. Right? right?
Yes, sir.
And
we know intelligent people who talk like that.
I agree, and I agree with that too. And once again, all of those things they still come down to an excuse. We make excuses for a lot of things, and it's hard to just come out and be like, I'm not making no excuses. You got to understand, as a person, I know you got days that you be like, man, I ain't getting up out this bed doing a damn thing today.
Yeah.
And you got the same days, because I got the days I be like, man, I ain't getting up. And then after that I say, wait, but what is that really doing to the vision? I'm making an excuse because I'm tired. It's gonna be days you're gonna be tired. Ain't you don't get rest every night.
But see, when you say we're making an excuse, I'm agreeing with you. But I'm going to disagree if you say that you don't know.
Well, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because ignorance cannot be used as an excuse.
It's not. It's really not. It's really not.
He's saying. I think what he's saying is you actually born with some sin.
Right.
God is so. If we believe in Christian scriptures, well, God created this perfect being, right?
You brought up something good.
The perfect being.
Mm-hmm.
How can we not say that we don't know whether that's a productive thing to go over there and work and eat? If you go, how you gonna eat if you don't work? That don't make any sense.
Why is it that kids are a better judge of character than most grown
So they haven't been co-opted into the system.
Yep.
And
right.
Now, thank you. I need. You got to hit the rock. As soon as you said that, I had to hit that.
What I used to tell y'all about, that's why a lot of people don't like to work with y'all in the youth, because I was a diehard for the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm gonna tell you why people don't like it. Because I was saying one time, my mother, she don't have time. I said, I'm gonna tell you why I don't like working with the youth. Because the youth are straight up, bruh. They straight up. They go like this. Man, that dude a damn rip-off artist. And you be like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, wait. Right. And when I did that one time, I said, I found out that a young person joined the church. I was teaching the new members class. I had designed it, wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl comes up to me, because I taught a lesson. It was like, I don't touch y'all a certain way because I don't want y'all to think it's okay for me to touch y'all. I'm telling you the way it should work is, if I do something wrong, don't even tell me I did something wrong. Go tell the pastor. Because that's the process it should go. Because and then she does like, no, not just that, it keeps everybody honest. Because if you tell me first, I might say, well, I really didn't do that. I kind of, it's programming, right? So what she did after class, it did like this. This why, and I'm comparing about the young people. She goes like, well, what happens if you see a minister in this church that you used to know, and they still looking for him because he had sex with your 15-year-old sister? So now, what is my cue? My cue is what? The normal cue would be like, well, come on, let's talk about that for a minute. So you know what I did? I went, well, I just taught this lesson. I didn't know what she was testing me. I said, then do me a favor, honey. I called the administrator. I said, come on down here. I need to talk to you. And I said, well, here, this guy right here. Boom, boom, talk to him about it. I want to stay out of it. I come back that night. I can't find nobody. The door was locked. The administrator was gone. And he finally comes back and he said, the next time that happens, you got to get that to me earlier. I go, I did it as soon as possible. Come to find out, guess what it was?
The administrator.
The administrator. That's why, folks, and for that day, people got really nervous about me running classes. They got really nervous, and I said, that's a shame. This is an institution we should be free. But young people, empowering young people, they'll be like this. Well, I'm not gonna say nothing because this is a church. They went like this. You talking all that smack about truth. Let me tell you something. The guy that put you in this class, what if I had a story about him? Would you hear me? The grown folks don't do that. They go like this. They're gonna just lead the church. They're gonna lead the church, and then you find out 10 years later somebody got molested and say, why you need to? I wasn't molesting her. The young girl, listen, bro, and from that moment, I said, this is a dangerous position to be in, to be in front of young people. Because they might say, you cheat on your wife because you sure hang out with that girl a lot. That's who young people are. They'd be like, you know what? You should be hugging her like that because I think you kind of like her. And most people don't like working with young people because they like them.
And that's the thing right there in general. You know, kids empower each other more than adults do. And that's sad. But it's what it is all of these behaviors, as you guys have illustrated time and time again, we have all just continued to beat in each other's heads. And we're not even beating it because we understand it and we know it, but these are taught behaviors. You know, this is programmed behaviors. You know, you can't tell me that in any stretch of your imagination you ever thought, like, damn, like man, I sit here and tried to help the dude, and he still tried to rob me. I understand. I'm trying to empower this individual, and they still try to do me dirty.
Right.
But it just goes to show that the values, and we're gonna close out with just those small things. Values of being empowered. What is the value of being empowered? What is the value? If you don't understand the value, just before you say it, if you don't understand the value of being empowered, the value of empowerment in its entirety, how can you value it?
I think you first have to admit, I gotta go back to what you said earlier. You first have to recognize, I always think about Winston Gregg, he said, even worse than not knowing is not knowing that you don't know. That's worse. Mm-hmm. Hey fool, you standing on the street corner at 10 o'clock at night selling drugs to the same neighborhood your sister in. Eventually, they gonna rob your sister. You don't know that in your mind, but from his point again, the spirit tells you it's not right. That's why every time somebody go like this. So you know, but you go like this, the same point I'm making. Well, guess what? That's all right, man. I don't care about no police, man. I don't care about no police. You really saying that? Which keeps you
sure yourself.
Because you trying to be sure. Man, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Because if I hear it, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna change things. And guess what I have to do after that? Mm-hmm. I can't make that money easy drugs. Now I gotta go back to school. Now I gotta slow down. Now I gotta stay out of the streets. It's too much work. So I go, man, I don't hear it. Because you don't realize first. So the direct answer to your question is, empowerment can't come right without some values. And you can't get the values until you first go like this. I'm messed up. And I gotta straighten up. That makes sense? You understand what I'm saying?
I totally understand what you're saying, and the thing is that maybe in another discussion we could talk about more pragmatic things, because we're talking on a philosophical basis in this conversation with you, and I appreciate it. The thing is that once we get past the philosophy, we will have to get the practicality, and that means inculcating with ourselves the spirit of unity. Cooperative economics, that type of thing. And I look forward to hopefully you could have a show talking about that, and help these young people know that the power is in your hands, people, because older people,
we kind of said we're gonna do our thing, we're gonna find a way through it. But we're leaving you guys on the road. So that's one thing why this show is so important to us. And that's why the show and EB, and that's why that I'm gonna do the best I can to make sure that you're successful. You already have the ability. You got better ability than I got in some cases, and you really don't have nothing to hold you. The thing we didn't talk about, but when we start having families, it almost forces you into this pocket, and you try to and you almost better find it safe to be operating programming, even though you're not programmable. So you operate the program with the risk of being programmed. But when you are free as you are, you can go tat, 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 boom, boom, and you can run. That's why when you see some football players and they get married, all of a sudden they don't speak out no more. They don't say any statements no more. You're like, what the heck is wrong? Well, he's doing, Paul said this. He said, I'd rather for men to be like me, right? Because when a man gets married, he starts thinking of the things that pleases his wife. And that actually, I wish we taught that scripture more, because that would empower people. There are people that should be single so that they can save the world first, and then come back into this thing. Because once once MLK had a family, you could watch. Once his family got bigger, there's some strategic moves he started making that were a little different. And then when they start bombing his house, then he gets a little more apprehensive. Now, that's what happened to our leaders. They get babies, they get police records, and they get all this other stuff, and then it makes them scared, and then they go like this. Man, I don't want nobody to find me out. I'm good. You're in a position where you can bring up a bunch of, if you got a group of young people, chances are everybody don't have a baby. So you'll have more people in the room that's empowered, ready to change, than you would if you brought 50 of us in there. Because most of us only gonna risk so much until we go like, all right, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about it. But But when you got a bunch of young people in the room, they're more empowered and apt to be more productive. And so what I'm hoping to do with the ventures that we have is to make sure people like you have a voice.
And I just want to just say one thing before you close on your show is that we need to teach each other to love ourselves. Love your beautiful black self. And black sisters, woo, I love you black sisters. And I'm not trying to be patronizing. I love you black sisters. I love all beautiful women, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I'm just saying we all part of the human family, but because of the situation we're dealing in now, because they, for some odd reason, the spirit of the black woman and man, I don't understand. They just don't understand. Look, that all y'all came from Africa. All y'all. Everybody came from Africa. Everybody. That includes you. That includes you. Even though you up there, up in the Perry, up in the boondocks or whatever, that includes you. You came from Africa too, ultimately. Everybody came from Africa. That's the cradle of civilization. Everybody knows it. Everybody in the African knows it. So black folks, you know it. It's not about hating nobody else. It's about loving yourself.
Of yourself. Right. It's EB's Real Talk. And thank you for gonna be my protege and a young man who's speaking to some young people and actually to some old people. And one of the producers, the producer, and the man that's making it happen, K. Kelly. Thank you, sir. Thank you. EB's Real Talk. So listen, one word: power. If it ain't about power, it ain't about nothing. EB's Real Talk. Take care. Hey there, brothers and sisters. This is E.B. Smith. Real Talk is me helping you by giving you information I know you will be inspired to be a greater you. And with a greater you, our communities are better and our world is better. But I want to reach more people. To do that, I need your help. Will you subscribe and share my videos? Tell everyone what we're talking about here on Real Talk. Another way to partner with me, donate $1. That's donating just $1. Go to PayPal and send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Go to PayPal, donate $1, send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Since we don't like the world we live in, let's change it together. Thank you. Writing a book can be daunting, but once you get past the daunting, there's always the cost of getting it published. And many times that usually holds people up from doing it. Uptown Publishing is offering supporters of EB's Real Talk a wonderful opportunity to have their books published for only $250. That's 75% of the regular standard publishing package price. You supply the book cover art, a synopsis of your book, and your pre-edited manuscript, and here's what you'll get: 100% control of your book, 100% profits from your book, and your own dashboard. That's $250, which is 75% of a regular standard price. 100% of control of your book, 100% of profits. If you're interested in it, go to uptownmediaventures.com. Go to uptownmediaventures.com and go to the Contact Us page and put in EB's Real Talk. Or mention EB's Real Talk via email at uptownliterary@gmail.com. That's uptownliterary@gmail.com. Congratulations to all of you to your future as an author.